Everybody is talking about Michael Berry's bearish bet that the stock market is going to crash and die. Meanwhile, there's a really big story taking place where traders are making a lot of money in this market. And you may have been distracted, missed out on it, and that's going to be the goal with this video, to raise awareness on that and talk about this trade. So let's jump right in. Alright, guys, without going into too much details, here's the breakdown of what's been happening with these wildfires. So, a series of wildfires broke out early August 2023 and on the island of Maui, mainly affecting the town of Lahaina, which is once Hawaii's capital and a historic site. A lot of people there. And the fires were fueled by strong winds from Hurricane Dora, low humidity, dry conditions, and the cause of the fire is still being under investigation. Some residents suspect that downed power lines may have sparked the flames, though. More details on that later in the video. Federal investigators are also sending their teams to Maui to determine the exact cause, and the fires have killed so many people. We are now in the hundreds, and it's destroyed so many structures, more than 2,700 structures in Lahaina, including the old courthouse, the Pioneer Inn, many of the shops and restaurants that some of the locals and people who visit are familiar with. And still, so many people are missing, and thousands have been evacuated. So the fires are still under combat and fighting to be under control. So it's been a very big mission and a humongous relief and recovery effort that's underway. And this is being even the governor came out and said that this is the largest natural disaster in Hawaii state history that we have seen. So this is a pretty big deal what's happening here. And I couldn't help it. His story really made me think of the PG&E fire story that took place in November 8th, 2018. And this was in California, and it was one of the most deadliest and destructive wildfires in California history. Killed 85 people, and it burned 153,000 acres. That is a lot of land. And the fire was caused by a broken suspension hook on a PG&E transmission tower, which then caused a power line to fall and ignite the grass around the area. So the fire was fueled by, again, low humidity, dry conditions, strong winds, and that was the perfect recipe for this wildfire to spread. And PG&E actually pleaded guilty to 84 counts of involuntary manslaughter and one count of unlawfully causing a fire in June 2020. So the utility company agreed to pay the maximum fine of about $4 million and $500,000 for the cost of the investigation. So the fire destroyed multiple places, landmarks, community. Thousands of people were displaced, had to evacuate. A lot of similarities here, where that the company was then involved in multiple lawsuits, and it ended up causing that 15.9 million tons of carbon dioxide were released into the atmosphere, which was equivalent to a year's worth of emissions from power generation in California. This costed PG&E an estimated $16.5 billion in damages and liabilities. I don't know how that figure looks right now with the Maui wildfires case. But this is definitely going to be very expensive, and this is going to impact the company in such a significant way that kind of similar to how we saw PG&E stock just crater in 2018 when this news came out. So the idea came into play where how can we target something like this in the stock market and try to take the control the landscape in this scenario. And we have a company called Hawaiian Electric. HE is the ticker symbol. They service about 95% of the island. So they are the provider, utility provider company for Hawaii. And there are reports of a down power line being very quite the culprit or main suspect of being the fire starter to these fires. Um, and then on top of that, there are multiple lawsuits going into play here where this is going to cost a lot of money. And so, really, without going too deep into the details here, the idea of this trade thesis is that you have a company that is going to be dealing with not getting that much profitability, not getting much money moving in because of all this damage done to the land, a massive drop in customers because so many homes were destroyed, so many people are going to have to evacuate. And how long is this going to take for recovery efforts to get underway, get businesses back up and running, get people to visit again, all of these things, and even like how much billions of dollars of damages are we talking about here? There is a lot to consider, and this is only the very beginning. And so when we look at this trade and this stock, you will notice that this is a stock does not really move a whole lot. This is a daily chart. So when we look all the way here to the recent week, the last 2 weeks here, you're definitely starting to see some activity. Look at the volume bars, just muted compared to the loud. Oh my goodness, look at that. That is just incredible. Over 40 million just today. This is like a lot of volume that is going on, a lot of trading. There is something going on. This is what you see when big news, big world events, big catalysts take place. And well, you could see the stock just cratered from $40 to then 35, this selling pressure, and then from 35 to $32, and then the gap down all the way down to $20, which this is where I started learning about the company and catching it on my radar. And I said, hey, I want to get in on this action and do some research. And well, I ended up finding out that my order never filled. I set my limit a little too tight on my put option entries, so I did miss out on this one. But there was a nice drop the next day from $20 or $22, depending on when you got in. If you were shorting this or buying long put options, this stock dropped significantly down to a low of $14, which is just a massive drop. And then it was that day that the next day we saw buying, and you could see that on these long wicks here where it was like a tug of war, still a down day for the stock. And I was able to get in around here on the 16 and able to close out on again another gap down here all the way into $10, which was a nice return on the put option contracts for over 200%. If you had caught this on the move before too, on this gap down, that was another 200% move down. Depending on the option contract that you got. I got the Septembers. I did get a little extra time just to play it safe. And given the volatility here, the weeklies, I wasn't feeling too comfortable there. So I went with some more time just in case, got the big move, and then was able to cash out on that. And honestly, I just don't think it's done yet. Like, this kind of situation has so much more room to go down. Like, if you pull up PG&E, like, we can even do that right here. So you'll notice on PG&E Corp, Same story here, where you got a 5 year chart. These are weekly candles. And look at here, $49.42. You had these weeks were hell for the company, and they melted all the way down to a low of $17.28. So close to a 50% haircut or more. And then weeks after, the stock crashed down, and then the stock tried to rebound, then got brought back down to a low of $3.55. So I do think that we're going to see something similar here. It's very likely, given that this is what we have seen with history play out, and it's going to go to single digits land most likely. I mean, this is a lot of pressure that's being put on Hawaiian Electric, and this is going to take time to be able to recuperate all of the recovery efforts and get businesses back up and running. So guys, that was really all it to the trade. If you like the idea, if you have questions, reach out to me, like the video. That helps me out a ton. I greatly appreciate that. I did share this with my followers on Trade Study, and they had some questions about how this idea came out, and I thought it'd be a good idea to put this video out together for you guys. And I can help create another video to explain furthermore into detail, or any other trade ideas and that such. So if you like that kind of thing, make sure to check out the channel. Make sure to follow me on Instagram. I got more of that coming your way. So make sure to be subscribed, and I will see you in the next one.